Well, my name is Bruce Michael Bongo. I'm a renowned social activist in Kisumu. But on this chat about Albert Ojwang, Albert happens to be my paternal relative, and he is my brother back at home in Kokwanyo village, Karachuonyo, Homa Bay County. There are some few things that we must actually draw elucidation into. Number one, as someone called Ogai of the Youth. Ogai of the Youth means someone who is in charge of the youth in the council of elders of the Luo people. One thing that comes into fore is that we do not like how the maternal relations of Albert Ojwang, meaning the home where the mother comes from, we do not like how they actually displayed themselves amidst our decorum as people of Karachi. It is well known that you are allowed in our Luo tradition and custom that when you marry a woman, even with a kid, regardless, once you have paid the dowry, the wife and the child belongs to you. We all know that Albert was flown from Nairobi to Kisumu International Airport. Unfortunately, we knew that we were going to make the best procession of a patriot called Albert Ojwang. We passed through Kisumu, Ahero. The procession was very peaceful and okay. We went through Katito, it was okay. Even though we saw a multitude of crowd who are insisting on paying their last respects. We went through Nyakach, and as you know that Albert Ojwang's mother hails from Nyakach. On reaching there, between a place called Paponditi and we saw the paternal uncles, the maternal uncles of Albert Ojwang emerge, the brothers to the mother of Albert Ojwang. They were insisting because their home is just close to the road. And that was the only route that we had to use to get to Kokwanyo, where we had to marry our son Albert Ojwang. It is so sad, and it is at the right time that we have to call out the people of Nyakach. If you are true Luos and you know the dictates of our culture and traditions, you ought not to have done what you did. Albert is a hero, a national hero, and embodiment of Tom Mboya. And I'm saying this on the day that Tom Mboya was shot. This is the day that Tom Mboya was shot, that we are speaking. We were promised 100 years to get someone in the image of Tom Mboya. And then we have someone in the image of Tom Mboya in the name of Albert Ojwang, who was killed. And the people of Nyakach cannot accord him the necessary respect that we wanted from this patriot. It was so sad. And on this, I have to hail all the Gen Zs who stood with us. It forced the Gen Zs from Mombasa, everywhere around the country, to insist that Albert Ojwang to be taken to Karachuonyo, to be buried, to his paternal home. We are Africans, and in our own African lineage, our traditions across board in all the tribes, we know that the kids are owned on the paternal relations. It is your father and his kinsmen who own you. Thank you so much to the Gen Zs who came out strong enough to ensure that Albert Ojwang was not buried in Nyakach, but buried in the home that he knew, the home that he introduced his wife to, and that is Kokwanyo, Karachuonyo. I told you I am a brother to Albert because you are paternally related. What happened yesterday is that the Albert's funeral went through without any police presence. After the burial is when the policemen came. In the night, the policemen came, myself and Albert's uncle, we were in a vehicle. We wanted to head to Kindu Bay at night. Unfortunately, before we moved, the policemen came. We were there with a renowned media personality. Unfortunately, the policemen, the best they could tell us, the first one they could tell us is that there is another police station in Kilby that we have to go and ban. They also accused us of banning the Mawego police station. Very sad, coming in the wee hours of the night. They insisted that we leave. They insisted that they had to remain with Albert Ojwang'S father and Albert Ojwang'S uncles. And we said no, because we know the trend in our country. Today you are three people, the policeman approaches you, you leave, and then the following day, you have to record a statement on the whereabouts of the people you are with. We could not leave Albert's father and his brothers like that yesterday. The policemen insisted. They came, two policemen. One was called Kimtai. That is the name I remember, Kimtai. The other one refused to identify himself. And after around 2 minutes, we had a charade. Almost 20 policemen coming up to back up the two in a span of less than 5 minutes. We had to insist. We had to go live on TikTok. We had to call on Kenyan people. We had to call on patriots who had to immediately have their demonstration of the same on social media. We insisted, and out of nowhere, we did not fathom. After around 2 hours, the policemen vamoosed. They vanished into the thin air. We could not see them again. Kenyans, this is a talk. This is a walk. It is a journey that we cannot tire. It shows you that even though we laid Albert Ojwang Omondi to rest, there is something that the system is yet to accomplish. And it's high time that the Gen Zs of this country wake up, knowing very well that on Monday next week, which is the 7th of July of this year of 2025, is the commemoration. It is the birthday of Albert Ojwang. As the wife of Albert Ojwang announced it yesterday, it is true. As the brother, I am confirming that, and we have to come out in solidarity on the Sabasaba Day to come out strong as the citizens of this country, to put our country to the right trajectory. That is it. And when I move on to Albert Ojwang's father, I want to say that Albert Ojwang's father is a great man. Our son, our father, Meshach, did the best that he could for his son. Devoid of all the pressure that he had from where Mama Albert comes from, he did his best. And my word goes directly to the widow, the wife to Albert Ojwang. What we saw yesterday was uncalled for. You are our shemeji. We love you. We have accepted you, even though we just knew you for a short time. But it is in our culture to have decorum, to be people of civility, people who are cultured, to accommodate you. And we are going to do that. We're doing it to yourself and to your son. It goes to all our young ladies across the country. When you love somebody, all the Gen Zs, when you fall in love. But know very well that in addends of chapters, it is a fait complete that someone must go first. The beautiful lady can go first. The gentleman can go first. But you have to pay your last respects in the best way. There's a lot. There's a lot that happened. There's a lot that you need to know as members of the public that I, a member of the family, can tell you right now. Number one is that the Sisi kwa Sisi has become a thorn in the flesh of Baba Albert Ojwang. It is high time that Eric Omondi, who is an alumni of the school I went to, and that is Kisumu Boys High School, he should come out and put his cachet to the public. We have to know whether when Eric Omondi comes to aid you in support, it should be a game of if he gets 20 million, maybe you get 10 or 15 or something of the sort. But we do not want to end up into the way Baba Albert Ojwang ended up, to being scolded by Kenyans, to be ridiculed by Kenyans, of heavy millions of money, over 10 million, being announced that has gone through for the burial of Albert Ojwang. Whereas my uncle, Baba Meshach Ojwang, the father to Albert Ojwang, did not receive an amount accruing to over 10 million. As it was said, I was at home. There was a point when Baba Albert could not afford 200 shillings for a fare to go to another funeral just there in the village in Kokwan. It is so sad. What we saw Eric Omondi do yesterday was uncalled for. And we have to speak it the way it is. Eric Omondi, you are a brother. We went to the same school, Kisumu Boys. I would not want to air you out in the wrong way. But when it comes to Albert, Albert is my blood, and I have to speak truth to it. Eric Omondi sent people. As you remember, he was not recognized in that funeral. Nobody spoke his name out. Even the father of Albert did not even appreciate Eric Omondi. If you can play that clip, again, you will see it. He never mentioned it. Sitting with Baba Albert, he said it. Even in the Baptist Church of Nairobi, where the Requiem Mass of Albert was held before he was flown to Kisumu, Baba Albert was very bad. We have to stop this. We don't have to ridicule the senior citizens of this country like Baba Albert. Eric Omondi just went, he timed his people to take photos. He went right behind Baba Albert, and these people took a photo. When people were leaving in the aisles from the church, he also took the opportunity to go and greet the wife to Albert and Baba Albert as well. And photos were being taken without the knowledge of Baba Albert, without the knowledge of Albert's wife, without the knowledge of Albert's mother. And then we have all these bloggers in the social media today telling us how Eric Omondi talked to Baba Albert in Nairobi before Albert was flown to Kisumu, heading to Homa Bay for his burial. That is a big sham. If at all he was all that claim, why couldn't he surface yesterday for the burial of Albert Ojwang? Because he knew that the Gen Zs of this country only need somebody in a clean pair of gloves. That is the person that we need. So Eric Omondi could not come to the burial of Albert Ojwang. Instead, he decided to sponsor some youths, some 20 people who are shouting his name every time. And they learned their own lesson. Those 20 boys who were shouting his name, I think they learned their lessons. I will not go straight into what happened. But what I can tell you is that Albert's burial was a burial that was devoid of any nonsense, was devoid of anyone who is corrupt. It was a burial that was attended by Gen Zs who are tribeless, Gen Zs who are leaderless, Gen Zs who wants to put this country to the better for. Eric Omondi, this is the time for you now to go back to Sisi kwa Sisi. Re-strategize this. Because you cannot tell us that in Sisi kwa Sisi you work alongside almost 20 people, and then you cannot tell us actually the remarks in terms of accountability of the finances that has been raised by Kenyans. That is very sad. That is not allowed. It is so sad, and we are going to have a new dawn in this country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. If you are watching Kenyan Finance for the first time, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel.